Hello everybody, welcome back. So today we're going to do the part 2 of chapter 2 ACCA F1 Business Organization and Structure. So before watching this video, I hope you watched the part 1. If you haven't watched it yet, please go to the description box below. I've linked it there. Also check out the description box for the playlist of all the chapters. And yes, I did not follow a particular sequence which is followed in your books in the Kaplan, but this is a way in which you'll be able to learn everything in an easier manner. So make sure you watch the other videos before watching this. So in the last class we've done the part 1. We had seen what an organizational structure is, what is the entrepreneurial structure, and what is divisional or product structure, followed by what is a functional structure or a departmental structure. And we have also done the advantages and disadvantages. We've seen the geographical structures, and then we had also done the matrix structure. Okay, now we come to boundaryless structure. So what does boundaryless mean? So boundaryless means that something which does not have any boundary, which does not have any limit, which does not have any restrictions, which means that it has a lot of flexibility involved in it. This is a contemporary model of organizational design which adopts a more flexible approach to structure. Boundaryless organizations are essentially an unstructured design that is not constrained by having a chain of command or formal department, with the focus instead being on flexibility. There are a number of different types of boundaryless organizations like the hollow, the virtual, and the modular. So we understood what a boundaryless structure is, which has no boundary, and the focus is more over on the flexibility aspect of the organization. So what are hollow organizations? So we know that what outsourcing is to begin with. Let's understand what does outsourcing mean. So outsourcing means that if I have a company of, let's say, I have a company of a school, I have an organization of a school. So what is my main duty? My main duty is to teach the students and take care of the needs of the students, right? So there is some part, there's some part of the business or the organization of school where we need the salaries of the teachers, we need the payrolls to be added, and we need the electricity bill of the school which needs to be found out. So is that my core activity or no? What is my core activity? My core activity or my strategically important activity is teaching the students, is taking care of the needs of the students. The electricity bill and everything that is and getting the payroll and all that is like non-core activities. So I can outsource, which means I can give out the non-core activities to external organizations, and the external organizations can do the work for us. For example, in our schools and in our colleges, there is a canteen. Do you think the college people, is it the college who work as the cook, or do they outsource some kind of food company or some kind of canteen or some kind of restaurant? Where are the chefs coming from? The chefs are being outsourced. They're coming from an external organization or caterers, right? So that is known as outsourcing, wherein you give out the non-core activities or whatever activities for the external organizations to do it for you, so that you can focus on the important activities. Now let us understand what hollow organizations are. Hollow organizations split their functions into core, which we've just done it. Core means strategically important, and non-core activities. Anything which is classified as non-core is outsourced to other organizations. Outsourcing refers to contracting out aspects of the organization's work to specialist providers. We will look at outsourcing in the next chapter. So for example, an accountancy training organization. So what is an accountancy training organization's core activity or strategic activity? It is to teach the pupils. So there are many more functions which are important, like payroll and everything. So all that is given to the third party organizations who are specializing in the payroll processing. So core functions such as training the students and teaching, it will be kept in the house, and we will take care of it. Very easy. You understood? So that is what hollow organizations are. What are hollow organizations? That they outsource the non-core activities and they keep the core activities in the house. Followed by the virtual organizations. So this occurs when an organization outsources many of its functions to other organizations and simply exists as a network of contracts with very few, if any, functions being kept in-house. So first, let us take an example to understand what virtual organizations are. For example, Amazon, Flipkart, Snapdeal. What are these? What are these? So like Amazon, does the Amazon make the product by itself? No. And what does Amazon do? Probably the delivery boys are of the Amazon. In fact, even they might be outsourced. So the travel pickup and everything, like when you need a product, when you've ordered a product which is coming from Mumbai, so it first goes to the post office, like it gets transferred and everything. So everything is outsourced. The seller is outsourced. The mode of transportation is also outsourced. Everything is outsourced. The only thing Amazon does is like putting these things together. So Amazon does not make the products. Amazon does not come to deliver the products. It has many organizations working for them, and it just organizes all of them together. So this is what is called a virtual organization, where some, if any, important activities left are kept in the house and everything else is just managed by the company, but everything else is outsourced. Now let's read the example of the virtual organization which is given in the book. For example, many internet retailers could be seen as virtual companies. Their products are bought in from manufacturers, sales are delivered to customers by third-party couriers, and even their website may be maintained and hosted by external IT specialists. There is typically only a small central staff within a virtual business who coordinate all of the different third party to ensure their customers' needs are therefore met. I don't think there's any confusion left in this. If you have any doubts even after this, then you may comment it down below. Now we come to modular organizations. So till now we've seen two. We've seen hollow organizations and virtual organizations. In hollow organizations, the core activities are kept and the non-core activities are outsourced. In virtual activities, almost everything is outsourced, and the only thing we do is like coordinating all the third-party contracts. Now we have modular organization. So these are examples of boundaryless manufacturing companies. So rather than simply making their own product, they break the manufacturing process into modules or components. Each component can then be made by company or outsourced to an external supplier. Okay, so modular organization, for example, Apple. The technology is given by the Apple. But do you think the Apple makes the metal? Do you think the Apple makes the plastic? Do you think the Apple makes the glass of the screen? All that is obviously outsourced, right? So that is what is known as modular, wherein like you outsource, you break the production process and outsource it, and when you get everything, you put your final input, which is like the technology or the software. You got it? So what's the difference between modular and virtual? So in virtual, like many small outsourcing, we have to coordinate it, but in modular, the production process of the product is broken down and given out outsourced. So in extreme cases, the manufacturing of all components can be outsourced, meaning the company simply assembles them to create the final product. So virtual is something which is not physical in nature, Moving on, this is one of the most important topic, and question comes on this. It is important, but at the same time, it is also very, very easy. Okay, so don't worry. So who's Mintzberg? So Mintzberg is a management theorist. So he had given, some meaning of the organizations and everything, which is very, very easy. You learn it while watching this video itself. There's no need to do any homework because it's that easy. So Henry Mintzberg. So the structuring of organizations and structures in fives, designing effective organizations. So Henry Mintzberg, management theorist, argued that organizations are made up of 5 key building blocks. So what did Henry Mintzberg say? Who is Henry Mintzberg? Henry Mintzberg is a management theorist. And what did he say? He said that organizations are made by 5 key building blocks. What are the 5 key building blocks? So we'll come here. So this is the structure. Let's do from the top to bottom. Strategic apex. What is strategic? We just saw it in the previous topic. Strategic means the important, the important thing. So strategic is the top level management. So strategic is the top. Let's say. So strategic is, wait, just a sec, I'm changing the color. Yeah. So strategic is the top. What is middle line? I think the name says it. It is the middle level stuff. Operating core. So these are the people who do the operating production core or whatever. So operating core is nothing but, let's say, low. Let's say this is to understand that low. Then we have technostructure, and then we have support stuff. So what is technostructure? Technostructure is the technicals, is the tech things, or it's the IT things. And support stuff, these are the support people which are not related to the actual business, but we need their support. Okay, so yeah, let us just revise the 5 names. Strategic apex, the top level; middle line, the middle level; and operating core, the low level; technostructure, the IT and the technical help; support staff, the support like caterers and canteens and whatever. I think that's very easy. 5 things. Say it with me again. From the top: strategic apex, middle line, operating core, technostructure, support staff. Very good. I'm proud of you. Moving on. Each building block corresponds to a specific group of people within the organization. Strategic apex, we just did that. Senior level or the top level, senior level of management. Middle line, which is middle management. Operating core, which is the worker who is involved in producing or creating the core product or service offered by the organization. So we know that I just told you earlier that people or the workers who are involved in the production of the product. Technostructure provides the technical input that is not part of the organization's core activities, typically related to standardization of organization procedures. They are analysts who plan and control the work of others. So technostructure are the people who provide the IT support and everything, who divide the work, or like they plan and control the work of everybody. Moving on, we have support staff. I told you that the administrative staff and the indirect services. So whoever gives the administrative staff or the people in the support, like indirectly whoever works, they come under the support staff. Moving on, now we come to ideology. Ideology is the organization's beliefs and values, culture, and can be discerned by examining norms and observable behavior. So ideology are the beliefs and whatever the organization believes in. Okay, so repeat with me again. What are the 5 building blocks of an organization according to the management theorist Mintzberg, Henry Mintzberg? Yeah, strategic apex, middle line, operating core, technostructure, last one, yes, support staff. Very good. Now we have Mintzberg's building blocks. QPLC runs 5 factories that assemble children's toys, each of which run by its own production manager. The 5 production managers report directly to the board of directors of Q. All assembly staff in the factories report directly to the production manager. So what did we understand here? Who belongs to the strategic apex? Board of directors. Obviously board of directors belong to the strategic apex, which is the top level. So all assembly staff in the factories report to the production manager. So we know that the assembly staff is reporting to the production manager. So what is the production manager? Production manager is also the strategic apex. Wrong. Production management belongs to the middle line. Okay, production managers are in the middle line, and we know that the assembly staff, the persons who are involved in the production of the good, operating core, they have to report to the middle line, to the production managers. Hence, what do we get to know by this? That the assembly staff belongs to the operating core. Let's read it more. Q's directors have recently stated that the company must cut costs to maximize profits for investors. So that this is a belief, or this is a advice, or this is a suggestion of the directors. So what is this? This is the ideology of the company. Ideology. Good. Q has recently hired a job design specialist who has started investigating how assembly workers' jobs should be organized and what the most effective shift patterns would be to maximize Q's productivity. So, what is it? So, we know job design specialist. So, who is a job design specialist? Job design specialist is nothing but somebody who's involved in the techno structure. We've just learned that someone who plans the jobs, he or she belongs to the techno structure. Then we have what the most effective shift part. Okay, Q's strategic accountant has recently created a set of guidelines on the claiming expenses by staff, which the company hopes will reduce. So strategic accountant is also of the techno structure because they are helping in finding this. We have read about it earlier. Q's factories also have a number of administrative staff, including canteen workers and secretarial employees, obviously support staff. Let us just see if our answers are correct or no. The board of directors of Q will make all of the major strategic decisions for the company and would therefore be classified as the strategic apex. The production manager and the main interface between the board of directors and the assembly staff, indicating that they are middle management. Assembly staff is involved in the actual production, so they will be the operating core. The strategic accountant and the job design specialist would be a part of the techno structure as they have technical input into design of Q's operations. Then the other administrative staff, canteen workers, secretarial staff would be non-core, would belong to support staff. The director said that, that a desire for the company to be more profitable and cut costs. So that is the ideology of the company. Moving on, Mintzberg argued that any one of these building blocks could dominate within the organization, leading to a variety of possible structures. So Mintzberg also said that there are various structures like the simple structure, the machine bureaucracy, professional bureaucracy, divisionalized, adhocracy, and missionary. So these are what Mintzberg has said. Let us see what each one of them mean. So as remember the format or remember the order we learnt everything in. So what was the first one? The strategic apex, which means they're at the senior level of management. So in simple structure, what does simple structure mean? In simple structure, who dominates? The strategic apex dominates. It's very simple. What was simple? Simple was entrepreneurial structure, remember? So the strategic apex dominates in the simple structure. Let us read what simple structure is. This is also known as entrepreneurial structure. It tends to occur in newer organizations. Okay, first you read it yourself, then I will explain it to you. Read the first three. I'm giving you 2 minutes. Okay, I hope you read it. Now it will be easier for you to understand in case you've read it. Simple structure, which is also known as the entrepreneurial structure, it tends to occur in newer organizations with one or a few top managers who control the rest of the workforce by way of direct supervision. While this is a fast, flexible structure, its reliance on the managers will struggle. Okay. So simple structure means the entrepreneurial structure where there is a proper goal congruence and a proper control, where there are less top managers, and so there's just one leader or very less leaders or the top managers. So in this way It's going to be very simple. Or the strategic apex dominates. Easy, nothing to be scared about. Now we come to machine bureaucracy. What does machine mean? Obviously something which is related to the technical aspect. So in machine bureaucracy, technostructure dominates. It says from the name itself. So what is machine bureaucracy? This structure tends to occur in large established companies and organizations. Work becomes very formalized with large number of rules and procedures. Jobs and roles will be clearly defined, and there will be a large number of plans and budgets. Standardization is seen as crucially important. Many large manufacturing organizations and government agencies tend towards this structure. So machine bureaucracy is something which mainly occurs in large companies, and here standardization is really important. So when you have many rules and many procedures, then obviously you need machine bureaucracy, or you need technostructure to dominate. Now we come to professional bureaucracy. So we know profession, or the people who are involved in the production of the product. What is that? Professional bureaucracy is something where the operating code dominates. I hope there's no confusion in this. This occurs in organizations that rely on highly skilled members of the staff, such as medical and legal industries. These organizations are often still bureaucratic with large number of rules and procedures, but decision making is decentralized, with each individual staff member having significant independence and power. It can be very difficult for senior management to effectively control this sort of an organization. So professional bureaucracy is something where the person doing the profession, they dominate, or the person who is involved in the core activities is the somebody who has a lot of power. So here the operating core dominates. For example, in doctors and hospitals, doctors are free to take so much decision. The strategic apex can't do much. I mean, if a doctor is performing surgery, they can't stop the surgery and go to their heads and ask for the decision. They have to take decision based on their high skills, and so this is, they have independence, they have freedom. So that is what is known as the professional bureaucracy, where operating core dominates. The next one is divisionalized, where middle line dominates. So there are some organizations where the middle line dominates. So when middle line dominates, it's known as divisionalized. This closely matches the divisional structure mentioned above in section 1.3. The heads of each division, the middle line managers, will have a great deal of control over the day-to-day operations and strategy of their part of the business. With the directors, the strategic apex will focus on big picture strategic planning. So divisionalized middle line. So the middle line, in some organizations, the middle line managers have a lot of control over the day-to-day operations, so that the strategic apex managers, they can focus on more important or the big picture planning, whereas on day-to-day operations the middle line will focus. So that is when the middle line dominates, and which is known as divisionalized structure. The last two are left. So the first of the last two is adhocracy. In adhocracy, the support staff core dominates. So adhocracy, there are two things in adhocracy. We saw the operating core dominates also in professional bureaucracy, but in adhocracy, support staff might also dominate, or operating core might also dominate. The focus within an adhocracy is on innovation, making it more suitable than the other more formal structure for fast-moving dynamic industries such as high-tech or pharmaceuticals. Such organizations tend to create teams of experts from different fields and decisions that are decentralized, with power being allocated. So standardization is not usually encouraged. So in adhocracy, standardization is not really encouraged. So where is standardization not encouraged? In adhocracy. In adhocracy, standardization is not encouraged. And then, so we know that where operating core or the support staff dominates. Now we have missionary. In missionary, ideology dominates. The missions and the beliefs of the organization are dominant, with all employee actions having to tie to this one. Behavior or norms become standardized. I think everything is clear. Let's do the test your understanding. Isabel is a supervisor at a factory which manufactures steel girders. Her role is to train new employees in how to use the machinery as well as monitor staff to ensure that they are performing their work in the most efficient manner. Isabel does not take any manufacturing work herself. So, what is she doing? So, Isabel is in the middle line, right? Or she is in the strategic apex because she has to train people, but she doesn't have to. Matlab, she is not given the responsibility to be in the operating core. I think that is clear in the question. So I'm giving you 2 minutes. Guess the answer. Was I right? Was strategic apex the answer? No. Let's read the question again. Isabel is a supervisor. What did it say? Supervisor at a factory who manufactures steel girders. Her role is to train new employees in how to use the machinery as well as monitor staff to ensure that they are performing their work in the most efficient manner. Isabel does not undertake manufacturing work herself. Did they mention that she's a supervisor? Yeah, what does supervisor mean? She just has to check in what people are doing and teach them stuff. Did they mention that people have to come and report her, or people are responsible, or she's responsible? No. So then this is technostructure. Why is it technostructure? Isabel does not take any manufacturing work, so she cannot be part of operating core. As she does not have direct input into operating core's role, she is not a part of support staff. And note that she does not appear to be in charge of the factory. So yeah, it's not written that she's in charge of the factory, right? So she is not a part of strategic apex. Isabel does, however, train up the staff members so to ensure standardization of the work. Hence, she belongs to the techno structure. Okay, I just wanted to do this topic, the boundaryless structures and Mintzberg's topic in this lecture, because I want you to understand this before we move forward, and I don't want to burden you all with like so much to learn. So that's it for this video. Let's just see once again what all we've seen. So we saw what are boundaryless structures. So there are 3 types: whole organizations and virtual organization, modular organization. Then we came to Henry Mintzberg, which starts with strategic apex, middle line, operating core, technostructure, and support staff. Moving on, we saw an ideology is also an important part. Moving on, we saw what is the simple structure. Simple structure is strategic apex dominates, machine bureaucracy, technostructure dominates, professional bureaucracy, operating core dominates, divisionalized is where middle line, and adhocracy is when support staff or operating core dominates, missionary is when the ideology dominates. It's very easy. So to watch the further chapter videos or the other videos which I have already covered, please go down to the description box below and click on the playlist link, and please watch everything. Okay, and before I end this video, I would request you all to have some patience, and we will be doing the test kit of all the chapters soon, and in the next video we will be continuing with this chapter. Thank you.